How's that for a slice of fried gold?
You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life.
I'll be back.
Just a flesh wound. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
Take your sticking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
Greetings and welcome to Cinema Shock, the podcast celebrating the stories behind your favorite cult and genre films. But this is not one of those episodes. This is the bonus episode where we take a few minutes to catch up with each other and let you, the listeners, take a peek behind our podcast curtain. I'm one of your hosts, writer-comedian Mr. Todd A. Davis.
I am Gary Horde, and I also am a host.
I am Justin Bishop, and I am also appear on this podcast.
Well, fellas, we just finished talking about Army of Darkness, which
that was last week. That was a whole week ago.
That was a whole week ago.
Not 5 minutes
like
ago.
10 minutes ago. But I mean, that brings us to the end of I'll say the Evil Dead series proper. Until other things get tied in.
Yeah, I'd say the original trilogy. Yeah,
the original trilogy. And you mentioned, Justin, a few of the choice comic book series that have come out from Dark Horse of some wacky combinations pitting Ash with Vampira and Darkman and there's
Freddy Krueger, Jason
Freddy
Voorhees,
Krueger. Yeah, there's
Re-Animator.
There's one where he interacts with Obama. Like
Obama,
the
president.
There's a bunch of them.
Does he fight him?
No, it's called Ash Saves Obama. So it's
Okay.
I was about to say it'd probably be a whole other world of hurt for Sam Raimi if there was a Ash kills Obama.
Yeah, probably not the way to go. But those are.
Wait, I just looked at the bibliography, and there's one called Ash Saves Obama that was immediately followed by Ash for President. So.
Whoa.
Does he?
maybe he gets the vote, like he gets the and like Ash he impresses Obama so much that Obama backs him for president.
Ash is told by the Necronomicon that one of the three candidates in the 2016 presidential election is actually a demon known as the Great Darkness, and it needs Ash's help to discover which candidate it is. Clearly, it's Donald Trump. Without even reading any further about the plot of that comic, I can guarantee that
right
go with that. So it's 2016, so Obama's already not president anymore. So
yeah. Well, I mean, if anybody else out there is curious, like the Wikipedia page, like citing all the Army of Darkness comics is extensive,
there's so many.
There's a ton.
There are so many.
But, looking at that, are there any other series, any other franchises that have this extensive of an extended or expanded universe? I mean, I know Star Wars had the novels for a long, long time until they started cranking out the prequels. But is there anything else that jumps out at you?
Star Wars is almost.
Do you have a favorite?
Star Wars is almost a cheat because they bill that as like this whole extended universe anyway.
Yeah.
Not quite in the same way that the Ash stuff, it's not really canon, whereas a lot of the Star Wars stuff is. Although some of it was canon back then and then it was decanonized and now the new stuff's canon. It's all a mess. But I would say of the other franchises that I know of that have a lot of comics like spin-offs, Aliens. The Aliens has a lot. I mean, maybe I don't know if it's quite as many as Army of Darkness, but there are a lot of Alien comics, and some of them are crossovers, like Aliens versus Batman, Aliens versus Superman, Aliens versus Green Lantern, a lot of DC stuff. Aliens versus Judge Dredd was one.
Yep.
Aliens and Vampirella was one.
Yeah, I know. Predator the same way.
Yep.
There was a lot of Predator crossovers and
Yeah.
a lot of things like that.
I mean,
those are always, favorites of mine.
Alien versus
I dig
Predator.
the Predator. I dig the Predator stuff anyway. That's
Well, Alien versus Predator started as a comic book, I believe. I mean, obviously it started as fanfic or whatever, but it was a comic book before it was ever like an actual movie.
Yeah, I think, with a lot of these, and that's kind of the fun part of these creator-owned, driven comic book companies is once they acquire enough rights or different IPs, you get a lot of really fun fan fiction that's just produced on a mass scale, because you see a lot of that coming from IDW, Dark Horse, Dynamite. I think a lot of those are just kind of like, hey, IDW, they're like, you know what, we've got the rights to Transformers and to Star Trek. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's combine them. And they did, and it's pretty good. You get some of these fans that are creators that crank out, like, this is their 9 to 5, is to produce high quality sequential art stories and give them some IPs and just say, hey, have fun. And you get some really fun fan service. It's a lot of you end up with some fun stuff. Gary, how about you? Do you have any favorite combinations or favorite expanded franchises?
So honestly, I don't know a lot about expanded universe Evil Dead stuff. Like, I haven't watched a bunch of stuff or read a bunch of stuff. I've seen some of the comics that have come out, but I don't think I've ever actually read them. Like, I'm interested. I'd be interested to read them. I wonder how it would go. I've read like reviews saying they're fun, and the concept of Ash facing off against regular horror villains or something like that seems cool. I do think it's cool that Ash has popped up in so many different things. I was thinking about this, and I think I mentioned it maybe on the Evil Dead episode, like how it showed up in Fortnite, which I thought was really weird. Just out of nowhere. There was a whole Evil Dead, like there's a level, and like the cabin is part of a map, and like, you can go in the cabin, and that's like part of the gameplay of Fortnite. And so Ash is like a skin you can use and stuff. And I thought, man, that's really cool that like a whole nother generation of kids are gonna like see Ash and the Evil Dead. And I don't know. I think that's wicked. I mean, I guess worth mentioning, the series was fantastic. The first 3 seasons of that.
Ash versus Evil Dead, yeah.
Ash versus Evil Dead. The reason that probably that Army of Darkness ending was probably good that it got changed, landing in the futuristic area, is because the series also chose to end that way and then got canceled. And like so now who knows if they'll ever do anything resolving that. I mean, I guess maybe
probably not. I mean, Bruce Campbell said he's retiring the character, so I think we've seen all we're going to see.
So that kind of blows, like it's probably. I think I'm happy with Army of Darkness ending the way it does, because like, well, if that was the last time you're going to see Ash, then I get it. Right. Like there's these other things, there's the comics and video games and so much of that stuff, but it's like, does that, it doesn't reach as broad of an audience.
No, it's also, like I said, not necessarily canon, like a comic book where Ash is fighting with the band Kiss. It cannot really be considered canon,
right?
Or can it?
That's what I was going to say.
That is an actual comic, by the way. Army of Darkness and Kiss.
Well, all right.
That's awesome.
That's one of the many.
Well, let me ask you guys this: this is one of those characters that's kind of, we think, it can only be Bruce Campbell, but if there was an attempt to recast Ashley J. Williams, who out there do you think could pick up the baton or pick up the chainsaw and do a decent job of being Ash?
Some unnamed person.
Yeah, man, that's tough. That's
some Canadian soap star.
It is those are hard shoes to fill because, like we said on our Army of Darkness episode, part of what makes that character so great is that it is really just Bruce Campbell being Bruce Campbell.
Yeah,
you know, and nobody else would anyone else trying to do it would be doing an impersonation, you know, or doing their own thing, and at which point it stops being Ash at all.
Right. I think the closest thing that we've got right now, and again, it's not Ash, but like I said, it's a close second. Might be Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, but I mean, again, it's not Ash.
It's not Ash, and why? Like Ryan Reynolds is. He doesn't need to do that, and
it's not like he needs to do that. But I think maybe in an alternate universe where the Deadpool movies didn't happen, that maybe somebody said, "Hey, what about Evil Dead?" And so maybe that's a thing that could have happened. And like I said, alternate universe.
I don't know, man. Even. I mean, Ryan Reynolds does the smart ass thing pretty well, but it's still very different from kind of what Bruce Campbell does. I mean, and Bruce Campbell has even gone on the record as saying that, hey, like, don't recast Ash. That's boring. If you want to continue the franchise,
I was gonna say
do it with different characters.
I would 100% like if you're gonna have to do something with Evil Dead. Like what's her name from the new one? It's Jane Levy.
Yeah, Jane Levy.
Yeah. Just keep her going. Like she's great. If you could keep her going, I can't even remember how that ends. But
I can't either. It's been so long since I saw it.
But she was amazing in that movie. And so and I mean the thing is that it's going to be a totally different feel, but maybe that's okay. Like because they go back to like the Evil Dead remake is straight horror. Like no joking around. And it is brutal and it is badass. But Jane Levy plays a character who's like a recovering drug addict and like there's a lot to love about what she does with the character. So,
and she's from the show, right?
No, she's from the Evil Dead 2013 movie.
Oh, she's from the remake. Okay.
She was also in Alvarez's Don't Breathe, which was his follow up to that. Which is also a great movie.
My wife loved Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
She's in that.
She's in that.
Yeah.
I say we just recast it and put Sam Raimi as Ash and just have.
And let Bruce Campbell beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, he's just throwing potatoes at him the whole time. I would say maybe someone like, and I only say this because I just saw the trailer for the new Shazam movie, but Zachary Levi has a little something that I think would work for like the Army of Darkness, like dumbass version of Ash.
Okay.
I could definitely see that.
I could also see Joe Keery from Stranger Things doing well in that role.
I'm trying to think.
Joe Keery.
Joe.
Have you guys watched Stranger Things?
Yeah, I just don't know the name off the top.
He's
yeah. He's got the hair. Steve.
He's got the hair.
Oh, that guy.
And he kind of does that. He's like a dumb jock kind of guy who becomes kind of heroic in Stranger Things. So I feel like that would kind of work.
That would work. Yeah, for sure.
But again, nobody's really going to be able to do it. Nobody. Can really
listen, I went and saw the Evil Dead live. Did you guys ever go see that? The play.
Yeah,
by the way, there's a musical, The Evil Dead.
The Evil Dead, the musical. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one, it's good. It's fun, but 100% the whole time you're watching the fucker
like,
who's playing Ash, I was like, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not the same. Like you can't help it. Like if you're a fan of the franchise, you want Bruce Campbell. That's the whole course.
Yeah.
So, I think if they wanted to keep the continuity, I think the best thing going forward is to just cast somebody else who is not Ash, but a different character within the same universe, or even maybe it's Ash's daughter. It's Ashley Williams.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
he's
do you
named
go with
after-
like
named
a
after her
daughter
father.
or something? Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, there's a way to go that like now if you did the series, did we all see the series? Ash versus Evil
I've
Dead?
seen a little bit of the first season. I haven't seen the rest.
Oh,
of it.
I mean, the series is fantastic, and they do callbacks to the whole franchise, and it's really, really good. So if you're a
It's
fan
funny
of the
'cause
movies,
They're not actually allowed to mention Army of Darkness in season 1 because of some legal disputes, and by season 2 they were whatever that was, they had settled, and they were able to actually mention the events of Army of Darkness. But season 1 kind of has to pretend like Army of Darkness, like he never went back in time, so they never mentioned it at all.
yeah, but like Ted Raimi's in there, and I mean it brings back everybody. Like there's some Lee Majors plays Ash's dad, I think.
Yep.
And,
Oh, fun.
It's great. Like it's
I'm actually
going to
rewatch it soon because I bought that Groovy Collection box set which
Same.
comes with
Yeah.
it. So I was planning on, after we finish Army of Darkness, I'm gonna get into rewatching the Evil Dead, Ash versus Evil Dead. So I'll probably be starting it again here soon.
The reason that I mainly mention it though is like, yeah, if you were going to do like some kind of spin-off thing, like Ray Santiago plays Pablo.
Pablo's great.
Pablo's great, and Dana
what's the girls?
DeLorenzo is Kelly.
She's
Pablo
awesome.
and Kelly are like Ash's sidekicks.
They deserve their own. They even if Bruce Campbell wasn't willing to do it, like they are both good enough to like. I would watch a series about them fighting Deadites.
Yeah, like Dana becomes like kind of the badass, unintentionally, like, and she's not a doofus like Ash, but she is like the reluctant hero, and like Ray or Pablo is like he's a bruja, like so he's got like this weird
he's got some
mystical
powers,
connection, and so it's kind of wicked. Like those two together could do some fun stuff, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, there's a big we mentioned the comics, there's a big list of those crossovers. Any crossover with Ash Williams that isn't there that you'd like to see?
Ash versus shit. Let me think about this for a second.
Ash versus shit, like the shit monster from
from Dogma,
from Dreamcatcher, the shit.
Oh, okay.
not to be confused with the Golgothan shit demon from Dogma.
Well, I was actually, I mean, I'll take either. So
Ash versus Pennywise.
Ooh, yeah, that's
not the band, the evil clown from It.
Yeah,
would be fun. I think that would be fun. Who's another? I don't know. The comic, I've never read Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, but I like the idea of Jason, of Freddy and Ash just talking shit to each other for 2 hours.
I could see that.
You know, because they're both just known for their one-liners. That I just like the idea of
I was trying to think of like who matches up. I mean, I know
Ash versus Leatherface. They could have a chainsaw battle.
Oh yeah,
that would be fun.
I know I've been like a Clive Barker stan lately, but I mean, at least the Cenobites are from hell, and they probably somewhere around the Deadites. Like
they're like neighbors.
Yeah, they're like, what's going on up there? What are you guys running into all the time that's fucking you up? And like,
this is fucking Ash guy. And
Personally,
and Pinhead's just like, is he kinky?
Personally,
That's going to decide if I go up there or not.
Oh my god.
I again, because I think it would be fun, but I also think it would make sense from a production standpoint. I would kind of like to see the classic monsters, have Ash kind of work his way through.
Well, that was one of the
Dracula,
comics, is him fighting Dracula.
Was it?
Yeah, he fights Dracula in one of the comics.
Did I miss that?
I don't know, but it's true. I'm not making that up.
Okay. I was doing a quick scan. I didn't see that one specifically, but gosh.
Yeah, like Ash versus Dracula. It's part of the Ash versus Classic Monsters series. Ash must face Dracula, who wants to use the power of the Necronomicon to plunge the world into eternal night. And it introduces a new character named Eva, daughter of the dragon.
There's definitely a picture of him turning into a wolf, so I'm gonna assume he battles the Wolf Man.
Wait, what's it called again?
Ash versus Dracula.
Ash versus Dracula. Where the hell?
I'm on that same Wikipedia page that you're looking at.
Yeah,
It's towards the very top.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. How did
Dracula
I miss that?
begins
Jeez
to plot
Louise.
his next attempt at seizing power over his unfamiliar century. Now finds himself in. Taking off into the night in the form of a bat, Dracula travels the world and begins to assemble an army of monsters to aid him in his conquest, fighting werewolves in Romania, Frankenstein's monster in a church, and Evil Ash with a slew of mummies in Egypt.
Well, and apparently these, like a lot of these series they're not necessarily like one-offs, but they are actually connected. Like there was, the Ashes to Ashes that I mentioned that came out in 2004. I read that one and I read Shop You Drop Dead, and those came back to back. And even though they have a title, Army of Darkness, Ashes to Ashes, and then Army of Darkness, Shop You Drop Dead, they were part of the same series.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Even though they had their own like issue number 1, like Shop You Drop Dead follows Ashes to Ashes, but then Army of Darkness versus Re-Animator is after that, and it picks up it within the continuity of the previous one.
Yeah.
And that happens with the Ash versus Dracula leads into the
because it says Ash versus Dracula's issues 8 through 11.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that 8 started with Army of Darkness versus Re-Animator.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was old school, and then Ash versus Dracula, and then the death of Ash, and then the death of Ash leads into the Marvel Zombies thing. Yeah.
I'm going to say another thing I'm noticing about this, though, is that, I mean, much to the chagrin of the people who think there's an Ash versus Krampus in here. So just happy holidays if you want to look that up. Is that, like we were talking about, you don't take Ash seriously, like Ash is a doofus. Some of these comics seem to be not doing that. Like they seem to be like, oh, Ash is a defender. He's like
a badass. Yeah.
He's a badass. And like Dracula is forming an army and Ash is here to save the world. And I'm like, okay, even in Ash versus Evil Dead, like the TV series, the whole reason that there's a series is because Ash is so horny. He goes and gets drunk and fucks some girl in like a bar, and she only gets off if he reads from the Necronomicon, and he does. And so it calls back the
Ash, even as a 60-year-old man, is still a dumbass.
Yeah. I was like, Ash versus
and he's
Evil
been
Dead
hiding.
Still gets it that Ash is still an idiot.
Yeah,
like,
he's been hiding from his responsibilities for the last 30 years.
And he's trying to get drunk and laid and ends up bringing back the Deadites again.
Yep.
And so the whole reason he's wrapped up in it is because he brought him back in the first place.
Yep. I mean, that happens in Army of Darkness too, though.
Yeah, I mean,
he shows up and he says the fucking words wrong, and the whole reason the Army of Darkness even has a plot with Deadites is because he fucks up and brings them all back, and then so it's really funny in Army of Darkness. We didn't get into this in our episode, but like he gives his big rousing speech talking people into, helping him fight the Deadites, and the whole time I'm watching it, I'm thinking, like, dude, you should be like apologizing.
Yeah.
This is kind of all your fault.
Yeah, that's kind of the deal with Ash. So like he's not even like this huge. I mean, he's able to kill them, but it's like he's just always connected to them. Like he brings them back and fights them, and then it's a never-ending cycle for Ash. But
well, we hope you've enjoyed our deeper dive into Ash and the Army of Darkness comics. Fellas, where can you be found on the interwebs?
I am at This Is Gary Horn.
I'm at Justin_Bishop.
And I'm at Mr. Todd A. Davis on all of the socials. Justin, where can people find Cinema Shock if they don't know already?
Well, if you're listening to this podcast, and look at your phone and figure out where you're streaming it from. Are you using the Apple Podcast app? Are you using Spotify? Are you using Stitcher? That's where you can find the rest of the episodes as well. You can find all of our other things on cinemashock.net or at cinema_shock or on Facebook and stuff too.
Awesome. And until next time,
may the wings of liberty never lose a feather.
And be excellent to each other.
Johnny has the keys.